What is good, Tsla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with the overall market, what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers, what the news is saying about the markets, and what the economic calendar is saying, and how all of this could affect Tesla as we open for today and move in the stock market. But before I break anything down about all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. Now, this offer ends in just about 5 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. So, Tesla's a little bit down as we had some new news coming out involving Germany, not to mention their Chinese sales being a little bit weaker from yesterday. So, that's part of why Tesla's kind of down in the pre market, but that doesn't mean Tesla is done with just yet, because it's still holding up quite decently at the same time. Now, I just wanted to mention to everyone that we're going to be watching our yields and the VIX very, very carefully alongside the dollar just to see how things are looking. And so far, as we were anticipating, the dollar is down a little bit, the 10 years kind of down a bit. And this in turn is helping the market hold up quite decently. So this could lead to more volatility. But so far, the stock market has not broken some major resistance levels, and we have to watch for that before we make any big claims. Now, I just wanted to mention that when it comes to news affecting the markets, bonds are a little bit lower so far, which is helping futures to some extent. And we were talking about this potentially happening as investors are seeking some safe havens amidst the violence going on in Israel and Gaza as of right now. Now, there's also a border siege going on in Israel as they're trying to secure their border, and the attacks are still continuing on both sides, which is very sad, very horrible, and it's nothing that anyone truly wants, but things like this happen, and the best thing we could do is just react to them and really hope for the best and hope for peace. Now, when it comes to something else that's going on with Pepsi, they kicked off the new earnings season and they ended up beating analysts' expectations. They raised their outlook, which is so far so good for the markets. And besides that, just wanted to mention that GM now has to deal with another 18,000 Canadian workers that are basically going on strike. And it's their choice, of course. There could also be another 4,300 of them coming out. And the strikes are just continuing against the automakers for GM and the two other ones. Now, when it comes to data affecting the markets, I just wanted to mention that as soon as we open, okay, Bostic is going to be giving a speech. After Bostic finishes their speech at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, we have the wholesale inventories data coming out. And then at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time or New York time, we have the consumer inflationary expectations coming out. That's for Eastern Time, New York time. So 10 o'clock a.m. and 11 o'clock a.m. is when we have the data coming out. Then later on during the day, we have some Fed speakers, which I will talk about later on. So for now, just be prepared for some volatility at 10 and also 11 o'clock a.m. Now, as far as Tesla goes, I just wanted to mention that there are more of the German workers who are now joining the union so far. We have over 1,000 of them so far. I know Elon Musk has spoken and given his opinion of this in the past, and he wasn't really supportive of this, but it is their right, in my opinion, and we will see what happens with this. Now, as long as this doesn't really slow down Tesla's production like to some massive extent, it shouldn't be too impactful for Tesla. We will see what happens as time goes on. It's always important to be open-minded during things like this. You never know what this could eventually lead to, but for now, with this like trend going on with all the strikes, this could continue to disrupt Tesla to some extent. So I want to just be very careful with news like this. Anyways, besides that, let's now break down the charts. How are things looking so far? So right now, looking at some very important factors, the VIX is down a little bit, which could be a pretty decent sign as the market is trying to hold up. The dollar is now breaking down below 106, and we also have this head and shoulders we talked about yesterday. So this favors more downside is possible for the dollar, which could pump the markets, but so far it hasn't actually broken this support right here, this 105.66 area. We're currently at about 105.7, which is where we saw this thing try to hold up. So we're going to be watching that support on the dollar. If that ends up breaking, then this, head and shoulders will get confirmation, and this could lead to more downside for the dollar, which would push the market up to some extent. And another big factor is going to be the 10-year Treasury yield. This is currently down 2% at the time I'm recording this at this 47 area, which is 4.7% for the yield rate. So that's another bullish factor for the markets. We were talking about this bearish divergence that developed on it, and the fact that this is coming down is helping the market hold up and push a bit. Now the question is, will these things continue dropping? Will the 10-year continue dropping? Will the dollar continue dropping? We have to watch for that, because if you look at SPY, okay, we're going to start off with SPY before we talk about Tesla. 433 is resistance. We haven't broken that just yet. We tried to break it. We haven't truly broken it just yet. So we're going to be watching that as we open. If we can break 433, this thing is going to have the potential to push up to 436, then potentially 438 above that. However, if we reject off this and the yields don't really move much from here, this could reject off 433 and come right back down to 430. If that fails, watch 428. So we're going to be watching that 433 level. It's going to be very key for SPY this morning. So watch it and see if we can break it or not. As far as Tesla goes, we're going to be watching this very, very carefully. We have 258 as the support that's holding Tesla up. If we hold this and start pushing, we could be seeing another test of this 260 area. If Tesla can break 260, you're going to be watching to see if Tesla can try to get its way up to about 263, if we can break that or not. If we break 263, I can see this thing pushing for 265 plus. So watch that very carefully. We're still in this range, but so far Tesla's trying to hold up. Now, if we break down, we have support at 256 to be watching for. If that fails us, watch 254, 252.5, and then 250 below that as key supports. As of right now, Tesla's holding up. It's trading very flat in the pre-market, between 257.5 to about 260. So we will see which way it breaks. Don't forget that we have this channel that's been developed for the last 4 days. And we'll see which of these directions Tesla ends up going in. So watch 260 as a key resistance. If Tesla could break that, 263 is going to be the next key level. If it gets above 263, it has the potential to start pushing up quite nicely. As of right now, it hasn't really done that, so watch these levels very carefully, and then don't forget to watch support as well. So we'll see what Tesla could do, if the 10-year and all these different yields could help it or not. As far as Apple goes, Apple is trying to push up higher, but we have one obstacle in our way. This resistance has not been able to break just yet on Apple, very close to the mid 179s. If that breaks, 180 is going to be on the table. And we're just barely holding the 200 EMA as of right now, this 177.6 area, so watch that carefully. If we hold this and start pushing, we could see this thing get closer to the 180s. If it rejects and breaks below this, it could come down to 176, so it's just barely holding support. We will see if Apple could try to continue to break out towards 180 or not. For the QQQ, if this thing could break 368, we're going to be watching for it to push towards 370. If it fails to hold 365, it's going to come down to 362. Watch this area very carefully. There is potential for it to get to 370, but we need to break 368. Nvidia is very flat right now, a little bit green, starting to push up a bit. If Nvidia can break 457, we have the potential to push up to 461, to potentially 463 above that, and then 465 above that as well. If we reject and break below this support right here at 450, watch 448. Then if that breaks, it could come all the way down to 442 again. So watch support. As of right now, it's on a very strong uptrend, making higher highs and higher lows. Looks more bullish with this inverse head and shoulders. We could see more upside. I'm leaning a bit more in that direction for Nvidia, but we have to watch and see if we can break 457 first. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Right now, the dollar is still down, so is the 10-year treasury yield. The bonds are still favoring the bulls for the equities market. So we will see if this continues, and just be very patient and open-minded nonetheless. All right, guys, so hopefully this video was helpful. Have a great day. I'll see you guys very, very soon to see what ends up happening with these yields and the dollar index. Thank you. Have a great day. Watch resistance very carefully, and peace out.